AIM parents to Open House. Today we're going to be showing you guys some of the projects we've made throughout the year. I'll go first by showing you one of my videos and Cameron Ford's personal statement. The personal statement project was one of the first of the year. I believe it's the only project that you make a film on your own, and we were assigned by Mr. Lezo to make a personal statement, choosing from one of the UC's essay prompts, which includes stuff like writing about a personal talent, overcoming an obstacle, a change in belief, anything like that. So we all wrote an essay about that, and then we were prompted to make a short film about it as well. And probably the best part of this project for me was just that by expressing my personal statement through a film, I got new perspectives, ideas within my writing, which really helped me, especially come time when I had to submit the actual essays for college. So without further ado, I'll show you mine personal statement, and Cameron Ford's will be next.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Callum Levezzo.
The day I enrolled into the ragtime competition, I scrolled through each Scott Joplin creation in my ragtime book and listened to each piece. When I came across the one for me, I dove in. The sugarcane rag, to me, sounded more impressive than any other I had heard, but it was filled with rhythmic obstacles and syncopation that I knew would be a challenge. My first goal was to learn the bass, probably the most difficult element of the piece. Jumping octaves with one hand while keeping perfect time was something that wore me down more than anything else. For days, I worked on playing the left hand to the metronome and dialing in the precision of the keys. When I was younger, my mom would sit on a chair next to the piano and emphasize the importance of slowing down so I could perfect the timing and notes before I came back to real time. While I was reluctant then, I used these skills she helped me develop to push through the challenge and master the left hand. My next mission was to finish learning the melody in my right hand, which was not nearly as hard. I spent most of my time understanding the phrases and putting emotion into the song. However, putting the two hands together was tricky and took an extreme amount of focus. After weeks and weeks of pairing the two, I finally came to a point where they were comfortable together and complemented each other. On the day of the competition, I ran through each measure in my head, imagining my hands glossing over the piano and succumbing to the muscle memory I had been rigorously building over the past few months. The nerves struck hard, and I fought through battles in my head in which I questioned my readiness. From all the yawning, shaking, and jittering, I believe I built some self-confidence that day, and even when I felt defeated by my own thoughts, I stayed resilient and kept my mind stable on the thought that I would get what I put in. I use these same thought patterns in almost everything I do now. I know that no matter what my feelings are, it is about how hard I worked for the moment because that will always be the correct representation of what I achieve.
Ever since I was a gap-toothed toddler, I feel like I've been made to make. Drawing, painting, collaging. I mean, look at me. It's 2 a.m. and I'm up crunching on my laptop doing something creative. But before we get to exactly what that is, let's take a step back. Pencils, pens, chalk, photography, paint. You name it, I drew it, colored it, cut, pasted with it. And there's that gap in the teeth. Can't miss that. Here's a series of alter egos I photographed. There's nothing wrong with playing dress up when you're 16 years old. Anyway. Homemade music videos, love those. Slow-mo is key. Photography? Dad's old film camera, Dad's old Polaroid camera, Dad's old Instax camera. I guess old Dad had a lot of old cameras. How much do I love art supplies? Well, here's me crying over gel pens. Who does that? I cry over sneakers too, but that's another video. Some other things I just have to make. Let's see. Chalk art, collage art, spray paint art, wall art, tie-dyed shirts, sewed shirts, my own shirt company, summer job. See me after class for discount code. And then there's sewing, baking, flower arranging. What's this? Some type of interpretive dance? You tell me. Make. Great. Well, how did we get here? The great computer crash of 2018. My 2010 MacBook hit the bricks. My dad generously handed me down his. I promptly used it to discover a new form of art. Video editing. At first, I just messed around, relearning the basics of cut and paste in digital form. But then, I became instantly invested. I could control every frame, every 1/30th of a second. I started by making simple edits, mashing videos and archival together to create snappy montages. But I wanted to do more, so I started to seek out things to shoot. Since then, I've gotten into experimenting with editorial shoots, trying to blend film and art together to create new images in motion. Transitions, music, movement. I'm always seeking new projects and finding myself getting lost in this new world. Which gets us back here. Me, late at night, with my computer, working on, well, this. What else did you think it was?
All right, so next we'll be watching 2 videos from our political ad project, and we made these right before the 2020 election. The assignment was to make a 30 to 90-second video ad that either supported or attacked a candidate or proposition on the Marin County ballot. And we're exploring ways of using things like fear, hope, biography, and humor to make a persuasive film. So it was a way of getting us students to be more educated about what was on the ballot, since some of us were able to vote. Although I wasn't able to vote at the time, it made me feel much more confident in my ability to understand the election and everything that was being voted on and going on at the time. This was also our first group project of the school year. So everyone had to do a lot of troubleshooting with working remotely by figuring out how to share files between computers and deciding how to split up the work between the 2 members. So it was a really big test of our patience, but it was very good in gaining experience through online learning. So now we're going to watch 2 political ads. The first one is made by myself and my partner, Kaylee Morris. And the second one is made by Talia Smith and Carson Scott. Enjoy.
The internet is a fishbowl. Prop 24 ensures that your privacy online is protected. Vote yes on 24 and make sure that you aren't the one behind glass.
our country. African Americans had their rights stripped during the era of slavery. Now, people of color are being disproportionately affected by the inability to vote after completing their prison sentence. Prop 17 would allow people in California who have completed their prison sentence to vote. It has been proven that people who are valued in their community are less likely to repeat offenses and the recidivism rates decrease. Criticizers of this proposition claim that it is inappropriate to let people convicted of dangerous crimes vote. In reality, the people voting would have already served their time in prison, proving that they can re-enter society and contribute to the community. The people that this prop is affecting can't even vote for it, so be their voice. Speak out for social justice. Now is the time for change. Vote yes on Prop 17 and restore the constitutional right to vote.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica. I'm one of the student interns for AIM, and I'll be introducing the Monuments Project. So this project was in response to the recent local and national conversations regarding things like which monuments should be kept up or torn down, and also debates over which schools should be renamed. And rather than arguing for or against an already existing monument, in this project, we actually pitched an idea for a new monument honoring someone significant to the Bay Area. And I personally really enjoyed making this video. It was really cool for me and my group to sort of decide which values and ideas that we thought were worth representing in a monument. And so we're going to watch two proposals for local monuments in the Bay Area. And the first is made by myself, Caitlin Smith, and Cassandra Ruark about Alicia Garza. And the second one is made by Nico Lowenheitz, Will Trapp, and Cameron Jacobs about Boone Green. And I hope you enjoy watching them.
Alicia Garza is a symbol for equality, racial and legal justice, and accountability. She lives in Oakland, California, and is an advocate for minorities and social justice. She is best known for being one of 3 founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. This movement came to be in 2012 when an unarmed black teenager named Trayvon Martin was fatally shot by a security guard. Garza took her frustration to social media and first coined the phrase Black Lives Matter, which has since grown into the most powerful movement of the century. After the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor in 2020, the movement exploded across the world, prompting over 26 million people in the US alone to protest. Widespread support and media coverage has also catalyzed efforts to defund the police by cutting law enforcement budgets and redistributing the funds to historically underfunded areas. Garza's movement catapulted racial injustice to the forefront of society's mind, and has largely shifted the mindset of many across the globe by emphasizing the importance of acting on ideas and bringing racial injustices to light. The movement also prompted conversations on the issue and led others to evaluate their own privilege and personal responsibility when it comes to race. Garza's monument will represent the impact that both she and the Black Lives Matter movement have had on the world. Garza will hold her right fist high as a symbol of all her advancements for equality. Her left hand will hold a megaphone to amplify people's voices, giving them the courage to share their stories and experiences. With a determined expression on her face, she will march forward towards progress, unifying the people together for one cause. Garza's statue will be in granite, a material associated with strength, and she will not be placed on a pedestal, but rather on the ground,
as a symbol that she is with the people. There is no better place for Garza's monument to stand than outside of Oakland City Hall due to the political symbolism it holds. For change to be made, we must start in the places where laws are made. Garza's monument outside Oakland City Hall will remind us of our duty to not only seek racial equality, but make it a reality.
Years from now, I hope that what we'll be talking about is how we stepped up in this moment to change the direction of this country and to make it better for all of us.
His passion was contagious, so I believed in it.
He's a great guy altogether, man. He was almost like an uncle figure to me.
He can make a funeral fun, man. You know, a light-skinned Jimi Hendrix, man. That's Boone, man.
Edward Boone Green, known as Boone, was a boxing coach and friend to the Marin City community and abroad, training fighters and serving as a role model for Marin City youth. In addition to his hard work serving as a mentor and boxing coach, Boone founded One Kid at a Time, a non-profit organization that teaches physical training and health education to youngsters from low-income families. His organization was extremely helpful for at-risk youth and allowed many kids to have a safe space to train and learn. In a place like Marin City, victim of redlining and modern systemic racism, Boone inspired many kids and families struggling with poorly funded schools, less affordable housing, and more.
He always kept a positive attitude, kept boxers and his fighters and whoever come in the fitness center. He brought kids off the streets like they were his own kids. He had kids living with him. He'd greet you with a big smile and tell you, come on, let me show you this.
The monuments we have in our counties and the overall country do not appropriately represent the influential figures of African American communities around the world. The monument design we have come up with is a statue of Boone standing with a younger kid, with Boone handing him a pair of boxing gloves. The handing off of the gloves represents the knowledge he has passed on. It symbolizes how he taught his fighters and instilled in them important values, including the importance of hard work, the ability to make careful, thought-out decisions, and how he taught kids to stay out of trouble. The perfect spot for the monument would be in the Marin City Shopping Center, because it is a place with a lot of traffic, and people from all over Marin and San Francisco will be able to see the monument. As you drive in the main entrance, Edward Boone Green's monument will be standing tall in plain view, reminding viewers of the numerous lives he touched, keeping his spirit alive to inspire others.
He was definitely a staple in the Marin City community. A lot of people looked up to him. A lot of people believed in him, and he created history for Marin City.
Okay, that video concludes our evening. So we hope you've learned a little more about AIM and you've had get a better sense of what we're all about watching those videos. And thank you so much for coming.